Hi everyone, today I'm going to do a book review on Orcs by Stan Nicholls, which I might be saying his last name wrong, I'm not 100% sure. This was an interesting and intriguing book just due to the fact that you're actually reading from the perspective of an orc, which I have not had the pleasure of doing before. This book was recommended to me by my friend Brandon, who actually is a friend from Italy. And I did a joint reading with my friend Wade. So we read together a couple chapters, or we read by ourselves a couple chapters, and then we discuss what we read, things that we liked, things that we didn't like, theories about what's going to happen in the future. I highly recommend finding like a buddy reader if you can. It's a lot of fun. Our main character's name is Strike, and he is a male orc. He is the leader of a war band called the Wolverines. There are a few key people who are like secondary characters that you'll remember, like their names. Like Jupe is a dwarf who actually is in their band. He's the only one though. It's like he's the only dwarf, and like the rest is like 30 some orcs. So you follow Strike's perspective, and randomly there will be a couple chapters where you're following Genesta's perspective for a little bit. And Genesta is the evil sorceress queen. She is definitely like super duper not a very good person whatsoever. You will despise her just like basically everyone else does. So Strike and his war band are actually servants of Genesta. They are sent out on a mission to retrieve this artifact. And this artifact looks like a star. They are able to get it. This is within the first chapter. They're able to get the artifact. They're solid. They're good. Yeah, they had to run into some, I believe it was humans, and there was an altercation, and they ended up killing the ones who like fought against them, whatever. But they got the star. Aside from the star, they also got some like crystals, or I'm pretty sure it's crystals is what they called it, which is also a drug to orcs. So to do like a celebration, they all like get high and have a great time. And when they come to, they realize like they should have been back like a day ago. And because they're not back within a certain amount of time, they know that the Queen Genesta is going to be really upset because she overreacts, and she like kills, tortures, and beats people like when they don't jump, when she says jump kind of thing. So they're kind of in a panic of like, should we go back? Should we desert? Like, what are we going to do? And they're basically like, oh no, like we'll just go back. It'll be fine. Like it'll be okay. But like as they try to return, they end up getting the star like stolen from them by some people. So then they're chasing these people who like, took the star, and then they find out that Genesta, because they didn't come back within like 24 or 48 hours, Genesta's like, nope, they deserted, so, I'm putting a bounty on their heads, and she sends other orcs to kill them, and oh my gosh, it's just crazy. So Strike and his Wolverines, like basically, and I read 3 books. I read the Omnibus, which is, it holds the trilogy of the first orc book set. So in this trilogy, you just follow Strike and the warband, right? And it's basically them for 3 books running away from Genesta, collecting other artifacts or other stars, and just trying to survive. Now, I will say that the first book, there was a lot going on, but at the same time, it was kind of dull. And I think part of that is because like in first book, like the first books and trilogies, usually there's like a lot of world building. You're figuring out like who all the characters are, and like the basic stuff. But the second book seemed even more like meh. And I will say, like, even though he was like the author was continuously doing things or having the characters do stuff, progressing the story, it really wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting more action than what there was, and there are spurts of action in there. But when you finally get to the 3rd book, that's when like the big battle scenes happen, and it becomes much more interesting. There are other little battle scenes. There's skirmishes along the way, which does kind of keep the first and second book interesting, but like the big battle scenes are basically only in the third book. Now, along the way, something that was interesting is that there are a lot of magical creatures or beings. There's dragons. Granted, you only see dragons in the first book for like a page or two, and then they're gone. They're just like flying above and shooting fire at the orcs. They do return eventually, but there's dragons, there's griffins, there's trolls, there's goblins, there's imps, there's nymphs, there's harpies. I think there's fairies and like mermaid men kind of things. There's a lot of different creatures. Oh, and centaurs. So there's a lot of different creatures throughout the book, and some of them they don't really hold much of anything. They're just kind of there for like little nitbits. So like they'll just be in the woods and a hurt griffin will run by. You know, and that's all you see of the griffin, and all you hear of the griffin is like just that one couple sentences and it's gone, which is fine. I did enjoy the book. I really did. I just think that if you read it, you need to go into it just kind of remembering that even though some parts are slow, it does pick up. And part of that could just be a me thing, because I do like my stories to be really intense and to always have like something going on, and for there to be drama and whatnot. And I know there's a lot of the story that I'm not touching base on, but I really feel like I shouldn't have to touch base on every single thing in stories and books. Like, I do like to leave stuff out so people can, you know, discover new characters that I haven't mentioned, or plot lines, or, you know, what happens during certain dreams and whatnot. Like, I want there to be something new for you to experience when you read the books that I'm reviewing and recommending. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. Oh, and I know that one of the next books we're either going to be buddy reading is either going to be Monsieur, I think is how you pronounce it, or 1,000 Miles to Nowhere. We're not sure yet which one we're going to read. We just know it's going to be one of those. So, yeah, be interesting. Thanks again for watching, everyone.